Welcome.
Welcome.
Calling in.
Yes.
Hi, Terry.
Hi guys.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us for our very first workshop. It's pretty incredible. I'm Crystal, a community manager here at Horizon. We are a digital community with over 5,000 members dedicated to sharing AI resources regarding HR. So if you haven't joined us already, feel free to search us up and apply. We're always looking for new members and to share new resources. And we have a very exciting workshop lined up for all of you, and we're very excited to get started. So today, our keynote speaker is an AI specialist at our partner company, Litespace. He has been working in this field before AI even blew up. So for many years now, learning how to explain the complexity of this emerging technology in a way that someone without a technical background can understand, which is exactly what this workshop is all about. So, without a further ado, please welcome me in welcoming Jack.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the quick introduction. Yeah. I'd love to essentially for this webinar, love to walk everyone through what are some of the best practices and tooling and how are people leveraging AI in recruiting. And then my hope is to, by the end of it, you all have some level of understanding about how AI is affecting the HR industry as well as the recruiting side in general. To kind of kickstart, I guess I will do a quick introduction about myself. So I'm Jack. I have been building HR technology for quite some time. For the past 2 years, all I have been doing is really just building HR technology. I built a tool for performance review. I've built a tool for employee engagement. And around last year, later this time, I started dabbling into the whole AI aspect of it. And we found the recruiting space super interesting. There's a lot of, because that's a space that is consistently recruited under a lot of administrative tasks. And also in the same time, I think recruiting is changing a lot due to the nature of the fact that, candidate is moving in different aspect of it. So that's why we start building in that space, and I'm happy to kind of elaborate and share some of the insight that I find in this industry for today's call. So to kickstart, I would just kind of maybe do a quick intro about AI. I think everyone here are familiar with AI, and I bet half pretty much use AI in some sense at their work. I get everyone probably use ChatGPT to help draft up emails, creating HR documents, and sometimes even reviewing legal documents as well to some extent. But kind of a whole a history of it, right? It's AI isn't new. If you think back about it, it isn't new. It has been around for decades. And really what happened is around 2022, everyone know Open AI dropped their ChatGPT, and everyone was so excited about, oh, what? All of a sudden AI can help with many things. And how does AI really works? I think in general, to a technical degree, is pretty much using statistic. It's using statistic to predict based on the pattern that it has seen historically and predicting the next word that it's about to say, and providing it more context. You can do a better job of predicting. So in some sense, you feel is it really thinking? Is it really intelligent? And to some degree, it can be seen as if it's thinking, but we're not there yet, essentially. So that's kind of and why does this matter? I think the whole point I want to make is AI is helpful when you are working on tasks that is super repeatable and that's data driven as well, in a way that is there's a lot of context, a lot of repeating example of it. So for example, writing an email, there's a lot of available ways to learn how to write a proper email already in the internet. So that being said, AI does a really good job at helping you with that task. But what what doesn't it do? Like it doesn't really do a good job in terms of like thinking through the nuances to giving you something that is a creative aspect when you send out that email. When you try to like, introduce yourself to people, everyone have a different style of it. The general way AI does a really good job. Uh, but if you want like some level of creativity to create something like that, AI does right now, as of now, struggle with it. And this is really how the limitation is. Like it has a limitation towards the creativity aspect of it, reasoning aspect of it. And that's why in today's time, most people you hear a lot about, oh, AI is going to come in to replace a lot of human. No, not necessarily true. It will really just be transforming the way that we work, and kind of how we work alongside it. Understanding that is going to be the key for towards this like AI revolution that we're in right now. So to kind of before diving into the use case, I just want to like give some more context. Like where is AI? I think AI is pretty much everywhere. Um, you will see it in movie recommendation, song recommendations, like chess engines, even like self-driving car, and almost everywhere. Like everywhere is adapting this technology, and so it's becoming more and more common. And even when we're working, drafting up email now, I bet almost everyone, half of the people is using AI to help you to create an initial draft, and then you edit from there. So it's going to be more and more towards the day-to-day aspect of it, and our job is to really kind of like figure out how it suits us as well. So now, like, kind of more the exciting part, high level, just like everyone probably talk about this a lot, is like, how does AI really affect HR as a whole? In this talk, I kind of like really going to just specialize in recruiting, but love to kind of just touch upon some of the high level spot that AI can really help with. If you think about from a talent acquisition end, as a recruiter, you're really doing two things. You're doing majority of the time you're doing sourcing, like finding ways or building ways to find candidates, like finding applicants. That's like the most important thing. So AI, what can you do? Think about previously you will go on LinkedIn to create your searches, and then you will just reach out to these candidates individually, right? AI can somewhat provides help you to find these candidates faster. So talent sourcing is really a proven kind of like strategy that works. And some people might argue that, oh, the relationship management aspect. What about that? Like, can AI really convince someone to quit their job to uh, kind of join your firm or join your client firm to the answer is like it depends. It really depends. For some talents, when they're really looking for like a change, maybe they don't really care about the relationship aspect of it, it will work. I think those subset is like kind of somewhat still the minority subsets of this in this spectrum of talent sourcing. A majority of it, yes, you still need a human to be like, hey, remember me? We talked about it before. I know that our company is probably a better fit for you, and the relationship aspect of it still matters a lot in the talent sourcing end. So you might not. It's not like AI works for everything. Um, and then other aspect that is really helpful is like chatbots. Like you will see that AI powered chatbots sitting on a lot of these like career page now. And then the whole goal is to, you know, previously we always ask is like, how can we educate our candidates about what the company is doing and what the role is about, so they have more context and you feel like a more better alignment in the long term. And that side of things is big. There's quite a few companies that is like focusing on the AI power chatbot conversation based, and sky's the limit as well. Like if you think about kind of like it doesn't always just sit in on your career page. Sometimes you could have a text message. Walmart these days, if you look at their way to interacting with candidates, is like they have like a AI chatbot sitting on text, and you can text it the bot, and then it will explain to you about the role and availability and what they're looking for and what the perps, everything. So it's in many forms, more than just the website itself. Screening resume as well. I think this is not new. Everyone have been heard about. Oh, let's use some sort of robotic way, some sort of screening. We back then have like keyword research. It's like we're just like looking at certain keyword within the resume. And to now, it's like, okay, can AI actually think? Is it able to draw some context? Is it able to perform better than the keyword? Because what if, someone who has mentioned that they have experience with Python, most likely, that's like a one programming language, but that probably indicate that they probably can learn or know Java, like in other language, very quickly as well. There is definitely this like inferences like that he has, and then so AI does a much better job than the traditional keyword searches that these ATS provides there as well. Interview aspect as well, like interview scheduling, always being a ping point, figuring out everyone's like coordinate people's like schedule via with that lives within your email. Like that's always hard. AI can help support that. You see co-pilots like doing that a little bit, and so and so. And also, I think a recent top topic this year, almost like since like 2025, is like a video based interview. So you see this happen a lot with, especially with like high volume role. The whole aspect is that people are thinking that the future of hiring is changing. Is resume really the only pieces of information that I can learn about the candidates? Can we learn? Sometimes the candidate themselves might not do a good job at the resume. Can we pick up and learn, get more context from someone so we can do a better job at evaluating people? So this whole pre-screening interview or using AI, that use case is blowing up like crazy. And the whole thing is just AI can do a really good job at, think about your experience with interacting with ChatGPT. He is able to guide you towards facilitating you to continue your task or getting information to understand you more. And that type of experience could have been done like verbally, like you're just talking to an AI interviewer, that can have somewhat hold a basic conversation to learn more about you. It's like, and then they can ask a question, follow up question as well to kind of get more context about you. So that's like a use case that is blowing up in both the high volume type of role, as well as some of the specific hiring that people just wanted to get a chance to meet every single candidate. Because at the end of the day, it isn't really the problem. Is always been like recruiter talk about it all the time. There's just so much you can do in the recruiting side. You don't want to miss out every single candidate, but at the same time, you don't have the capacity to meet every single candidate. So how do you do a good job at that? And that's where kind of like why people are looking to AI to help with it. There's also like note taking. Everyone probably have taken that, and then analyzing the interview. These type of use case. Those are pretty much the mainstream use case in terms of talent acquisition right now. Talent management wise, I'm just going to quickly skim through it. You're going to see a lot of help around how do you resurface uh, candidates that apply to the job. How do you guide people to learn and develop? So people everyone within the company internal upskilling. That's like always been like a tough challenge. But AI could potentially help you to guide you and recommend you more in that. And also even workforce planning. That's like really very hard. But I think the general aspect towards all these use cases is like almost AI can help with almost every single task that you're doing, but to what degree that AI does a good job at. I think that's the part to think of. And usually AI tend to really just like do a good job at uh, tasks that is super repetitive. It's very predictable. It's like there's not many variety around that task. Um, and those are the tasks that AI does a really good job of. You probably do struggle with tasks that you know you struggle to carry the end to end for a task that is like requires some level of creativity, and that's where you have to step up. It's like more like AI can help prepare you. It's more like assistant. You can prepare you to complete that task to maybe 30 to 50% done, and you complete the entire task at the end of it. So that's kind of like some background between like what are some of the top use case in AI. Um, Now I'm just like going to quickly also go through like a case study in terms of like how recruitment always has changed, because I think part of the thing that we have find with recruiting or in the HR industry is like change is hard. It's like change is hard for everyone, and we oftentimes, because of this change, we feel like we don't know how to face it. And then it's great to look back at the history and then to kind of like see how we have adapted and people have adapted towards it, right? Think back about recruiting back in 1990s, newsletter, like newspaper, um, these type of like fax application. That's how you really like started back then. And looking back at today, you're like, oh, that's like super inefficient. Technology should have been in place. What? No, no way. That's not how people recruit. And I think that's kind of like the aspect of it. Is like the technology is always evolving. And then as our journey is really to just be always adaptable and to understand, okay, how is this technology affecting it? And oftentimes the technology, it does impact how we used to operate, but in the same time, it does makes the entire process more efficient and more fair. I think that's the area that why everyone is still very bullish towards AI adoption in general. Recruiting in 2000s, we start having the internet boom, and then we start having like job portals, like ATS start coming out, and then you're able to manage the entire application pipeline like better. That was kind of a thing. And then you have, whereas in the 2010s, you start having like LinkedIn, like, okay, is there a better way to manage everyone's profile? You have Indeed, and then the job board becomes a lot better. And also you start having video interview. It's like, okay, can we conduct interview instead of in person, remotely? And then are there any assessment tests that we can like send out to people ahead of time to evaluate that skill better than just having a conversation with them? And then now, and then this is like another quote that I really like towards this change is just, um, you know, the measure of like intelligence is not really, it's really the ability to accept change. Uh, I think that's like a very powerful quote. And then I think that's where today, like, we just want to kind of express the right type of mindset and so and so to go approach this. Here, I'm also going to like quickly just like share a little bit about what are the tools out there. So I think everyone's typically asks is like, I'm looking for tools. I want to learn as much as possible about AI or HR tech. But the reality is like this chart that you see here are almost all the tools available to use and help support you in the various aspects around this whole spectrum of HR and recruiting. You see, here is like all the tools about sourcing. And then you have video interview tools. You have tools that try to do like all in one, as well as like, you have ATS that try to track application. There's just endless amount of tools that you will kind of be able to like learn. The end result is it does help, I would say, to understand more about based on your current job, what are the best tool out there to support you, and having tools does makes your application a lot better. Um, and but that, yeah, that's kind of how we I think of it. And then yeah, and then happy to dive deeper if you have any like specific. By the way, we I think Crystal mentioned it. They have a Horizon community. If you have any questions about the technical aspect of it, it's like, oh, there's a specific thing you're looking for a tool for. Feel free to send a message out. We're very happy to facilitate you and help you to find the right match and the right tool for you as well. So, what's the future of kind of recruiting is going to be looking like? These are all the tools that I think is going to like kind of like it's going to be leading the next wave of recruiting. And one thing you'll probably notice is all powered by AI. You're going to have using AI to help source, like to find this initial candidate faster. So that's a better way than just like your LinkedIn search. And then you're going to have chatbot. We talk about it. Resume screening is going to be done by AI, and company is going to send a pre-screening interview as well to get more contacts aside from just the resume itself. And you're going to have AI help you to take notes. You're going to have AI that help you to analyze the interview that you just performed it. And also, some company might have AI to detecting whether or not the candidate is cheating with AI, or does the candidate really understand certain aspect of things, and also maybe using AI to customize the testing, the skill assessment as well. So it's more personalized towards the job that you have. So it's more scenario based. Um, Also, reference checking, background check, that those always took time. And then right now, a lot of those is actually hired by like a third party company to do that. And AI can potentially do a really good job at it and reduces the cost of that, and also increase the accuracy of that. Um, so all these aspects and use case is going to be what is coming in this wave of the future of recruiting. And what we will have see is that essentially back then, if you think about it, you are assessing like 50 to 100 candidate per role. In the future of AI, in the AI generation, almost every role you're going to have to assess 1,000 people or even 1,000 plus. So the good news is more and more people is going to be competing for the role, so you're going to get somewhat the best fit for the role. Uh, in the same time, also people who historically were skipped and then were ignored, and now they have a chance to express why they're a good fit as well. So that provides the opportunity for everyone in terms of making it more fair as well. So now, right after this, I'm going to spend some time to essentially show you some of the tools that is out there that people are using, and how does that look like in terms of for recruiting. And then I will just share a few key tools that recruiter these days I tend to use, and then kind of like go through it with you, explain you kind of like how it works, and then we'll go from there. So one of the tools that people use a lot these days, almost by every single recruiter, is the uh, Juicebox. So they're one of the kind of like best company in the talent sourcing aspect of it. And you might ask, like, okay, what did they do? If they think back about when you don't want to look for a candidate, historically, the way that you do so is to go to LinkedIn, and you create this like Boolean search. You create this like custom search that you have, and then in the recruiter mode, and then you find the candidates. But let's keep it simple, right? What if I want to just look for someone like a software engineer in San Francisco that has work at Series B, and then that has certain skill sets? How would that work? And essentially, this tool, what that it does is like you can kind of like check out the editing. It's like they're using AI to help you create this Boolean search that you have used on LinkedIn better. It's like previously, you probably know it was like software engineer, full stack engineer, backend software engineer, Python developer, and Node.js developer. All these roles that people write on their LinkedIn title have similar meanings, very similar meanings. But historically, if you want to find this type of role, you have to identify it one by one, and also coming up with the idea of what that role sound like might not be intuitive to you, and it might be some experience aspect. So you'll figure it out. And now with AI, you can prompt you. It's like, okay, I want to find more similar role, and you can help create that, suggest you that make that suggestion easier. So that's like the benefit of it. And also on top of it, you can do deeper research. It's like when you were looking at people's like LinkedIn, right? You always will check their LinkedIn profile to be, oh, did the person actually work at a startup before? Is that a startup fit? You know, um, and so and so. But now with because we have data all across available in the internet so easily, and now you can just quickly. It's like, okay, I want to make sure that they're currently working at a company that is like at certain stages, and then you can do that kind of search a lot quicker, and as well as like trying to look at any evidence to showcase their certain skill sets and so and so. So this is one search that we have done. I'm going to quickly show you the results, and as a result, you got like 900 profile of people who might be a fit for the role that you're thinking of instantly. And so what's that afterwards, right? um, Afterwards, you're able to like definitely create like a summarization of the candidates, which is like super helpful to kind of understand that. And also, as well as, you can figure out their contact info. You can always go back to LinkedIn, their LinkedIn profile, to send them a um, DM them a message to say, ask them, hey, are you interested in this role, like what you used to do. Or you can now you also get their phone number and as well as their contact their personal email to so that you can send them a message to be, hey, will you be interested in this role, we're looking to hire, and so and so. Like, and this is just much more efficient compared to the historic way of how you source candidate, and you can do that at scale now as well. So that's something that AI can help with. And some recruiter, I would say, like some recruiter, I know in their entire process, they will essentially have a tool like this, similar to this, either to handle the initial searching aspect of it, and then they were having other tool that such as like Clay. Right? They are a tool. What they do is like they use AI to do some research about a person, so you can create some sort of like personalized introduction. It's like, hey, I saw that you won this award. I saw that your LinkedIn mentioned about this, so people will read your contacts. So they will use this type of like tool to personalize the message, and then using other tool to schedule the emails, and then that's like kind of like a typical sourcing path now from the technological standpoint, and that's what people are doing with it. So that's one tool that I want to kind of quickly showcase in terms of like one of the main problem that people have regarding the sourcing space. Uh, other aspect that people are also trying to do with is like, how do you evaluate a candidate? Let's say you created a job ads, right? You you created job ads, and then from there you received it like thousands of application. Like, what's next? Like, how do you make sure that you're spending time with the right people? Historically, keyword research definitely is decently accurate. I'll say the accuracy is like what, like 70% of the time. So it's good, but we still miss out a lot of good candidates as well. We still prioritize on the wrong people. But with AI, right now, AI can help you to screen the candidates. You can come up with like different AI can come up with different type of like factors. Like, so this is like a tool called Litespace. So that I'm building. So essentially, you can use it. It does like an AI resume screening side really well. You can comes in and then sub-specify kind of like the requirement that you want, like the way that you want the AI to follow, the instruction that you want the AI to follow to screen the resume to see if there's any references that indicated that job signal is like they're doing well at. And so you see there's like you can create tons of different variety of aspect to look into the resume, and then as a result it will just provide you a report that tells you who is the most capable and qualified based on the evaluation that you have. The thing that I really believe in when I'm building this tool is that there's a lot of tools that go out there be like, okay, AI is going to do a better job at screening the candidate than you. I don't buy that completely. I think that AI is going to do a good job at kickstarting the process, but it still make mistakes. For example, do I really care about if someone have industry knowledge in the mining industry? Maybe yes, maybe no. And this is where this ambiguity and these nuances that you have to navigate is where, as a recruiter, it's important for you to figure out. It's like you instruct it, you create, you provide the thinking behind it. It's like what are the right way to screen through someone's resume. It's like you give a good input into the system, and then the system then can follow that instruction to do a good job and give you the output. That's how I would think about the future of hiring. It's like almost everyone will go from a administrative side. It's like, okay, back then I'm just like flipping through resume after resume after resume to see if they mention certain type of like um, the topic or so and so, to now you're gonna go is the future generation is gonna be more so based upon on the fact that, hey, how do you strategize this role? Is the best way to filter through the candidate that suits your company the most? And that's where you're going to spend a lot of time thinking through those strategic aspect of it, and then less time doing the administrative aspect, which is like flipping for interview resumes and so and so. So those are like two tools that is really good in the market right now in the age of AI. I'm happy to like kind of like I think in the chat on the chat, people mention different tools as well. Um, I think one of the questions is like most of the TA can't integrate. Um, yeah, I think Greg, do you want to expand a little bit more regarding the question you have there? I'm happy to kind of essentially people on chat feel free to type in any AI tools that you would love to learn more about. I'm happy to like flip through it, elaborate how it works, what's good about them, what the concern about them, and then to go from there. Yeah.
I think they're, I don't know if I'm reading this wrong, also wondering like you have a bunch of these companies that offer AI recruiting tools, but not all of them are free, or companies aren't willing to integrate them. Like, what do you turn to? Do you turn to free resources? Do you like how I guess they can apply it when it's locked behind a paywall sometimes?
I think this is where okay. I think Greg is gonna join the call here. Hey,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
So I run talent acquisition and I therefore do tool selection, etc., but I am not technical.
Hmm.
I also work with a nonprofit. So my budget is zero, and I'm interested in knowing how can somebody like myself, who is techie but not technical, how can we use these tools and create automated AI workflows without having to hire a developer into the team to do that for us?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think the cheapest way I would say to answer your question, the cheapest way is it's hard. I think there's cost, right? Later days, the AI itself it's not free to run, so you're going to have some level of raw cost like here and there. But there are tools that is good for basic workflow automation right now. So I think probably everyone have heard of this company, and make um, they are more like there's a lot of like essentially pre-built type type of aspect, so you don't have to really write any code to get it to work. So for example, let's say you need to get some data from your Gmail per se, uh, and can connect with your Gmail and help you to get that, so you can do the scheduling from there. Or let's say you need to run certain, you have a bunch of like I don't know things items on your drive that you want to like analyze. I think you can essentially use these tools to develop like a somewhat workable type of like workflow. Um, but this is the concern here. This is where I do not think that that's like the best way to approach to solve the problem. I understand about budget constraint. That's like the tough part. The reason being is that when you're building a workflow like this, there's still a lot of factors that you might not be considering because it's like you said there, you yourself is not a developer, you yourself is not like specialized in AI. And that being said, when you go down to, for example, resume screening, there's a lot of AI biases like that we talk about every day. How do you debias that? So it's doable. So then all of a sudden now you're not the problem you're trying to solve is getting more and more complicated. And then that's why there's like company that specialize in these type of like entire workflow to ensure that the quality that you're getting out of the AI is as accurate as possible and is continuously improving and to deliver you the best results. Um, I think I don't know if that answered your
So,
question or
no, so if I may, see,
yeah.
this is the interesting thing. We as humans have an amazing ability for pattern recognition. A
Hmm.
human who knows what they're doing and can check their own bias. We can do these processes so far so much faster and so much more efficient than trying to build these giant workflows. It is, as you said,
Hmm.
the the issue of reviewing resumes. Do we want to see every one of them? No, and that's why we set up yes, no checkboxes on applications to quickly kick out the
Hmm.
truly non-available. The rest of them, we have to review them. Human eyes are so much better. than what's going on here.
I,
The
mhm.
comment I'm saying is that this giant set of workflows, these huge sets of tools that are
Mhm.
available, everyone's attempting to create a solution for not yet what's truly a problem
Yeah,
in talent acquisition.
I think it really depends on the aspect you're saying there. Like, I think these are a few stats that I've seen over the past last 1 year. Um, what you said there is kind of correct. In a way that if the number of application didn't increase last year from to this year, then historically, I think for any role that you have there, normally you only get 100 application. There's a trend towards more and more easy, like using AI to help you to apply to jobs. I think you have been seeing that, and therefore, as a result, some stats I've seen is like the number of applications that receive per role literally 4x. So now you have to go through as much you say it's like, hey, we have some sort of pre-screening filters. It's like asking people whether or not they do this and that. First of all, there's the aspect of honesty. Are they honest with these answer or not? And is that really how you want to screen it? Not really. And even assume that's the case, what ends up happening is like still the volume of work that you have been seeing is increasing drastically. um, and to your point of human is really good at recognizing patterns. I agree, but in the same time, think about how much fatigue you get through just looking at 100 resume in an hour. You can argue that if I'm good, I'm really good. I have 20 years experience flipping through resumes in general. I think you can flip for like 200 resume an hour. That's great. But think about how intensive, how fatigued you're gonna get after that. And I bet flipping through like that many resume, at some point you're just like literally opening up the picture. You're just like scanning through it very quickly to identify certain keyword. What's that? How's that different than AI? In fact, AI does like that way better than how you do it, and is able to consider a lot more angle than how you do. And so I think that's where it really is. It's like you want to what in this generation, what you want is like you want to build that thought process out. You want to build that logic out. Like so, human will be building out their logic of the reason of why they're a good hire, and then AI will just follow that. Like there will be AI will follow that instruction to help you to accomplish the task, and then faster and then more accurately. And that's kind of how I envision the future. Yeah. Does Is that helpful? And regarding like this gigantic workflow, I think you can definitely check out NAN. And then I think regarding the funding part, I just say compute is not free. At the end of the day, compute is not free. A lot of these AI companies actually operate in break-even aspect as well. Um, I think but being an NGO itself, I bet if you reach out to some of these tools, you should be able to get at least like a 50% discounts because people are very supportive towards like NGOs and so and so. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely worked with organizations that have a
Yeah.
philanthropic part of it. The
Hmm.
the interesting one out there, I've written some things on LinkedIn in terms of AI and stuff like that. Matching algorithms, things like that. I always say this is that when AI engines can go a 90-95% match on first match to long-term relationship on dating apps, which is a much longer term use case for AI, then we can turn that on to AI for talent acquisition. When they
Hmm.
can get 80, 90, 90% match on dating apps, they can get a 90% match on hiring maps. So matches, excuse me, not maps.
Hmm.
There's We're early on this. I've been on the wave of a number of different technology
Hmm.
parts on the talent acquisition part. There is every time we do this, there's a loss of the humanity aspect of it and the fact that we're dealing with people's lives. We're dealing with people's families. There's a philosophical side of it. In terms of your comment about hundreds of resumes, yes, that is the case. The pendulum will swing back the other way.
Hmm.
We also, as human resources professionals, to some degree, owe it to read every resume that matches
Hmm.
the kick out questions. So there's a certain point at which we have to look at it and say, we are still people working with people who are going to work with other people.
I
To
think,
hand it off
yeah,
dehumanizes this process.
I think I agree with that. I think that's why when we were when I was talking to different professionals in this space, one aspect that AI actually enhanced the candidate experience a lot is like, think about back then without AI, um, you don't have a reason, like you don't know why you got rejected. You applied to a
You
lot of
still
roles.
don't. You still
You
don't. There's you'll never get that because
yeah,
of the liability issue.
yeah, and I think, with AI, you do start seeing more and more company be, hey, I cannot tell you what why you got rejected, but here's some recommendation towards things that you could have improved on, and so how to improve on it, like the feedback loop of it. Um, you do start seeing these type of tools, and then also another reason is not just the liability aspect of it, is that it takes time, right? It really takes time towards uh, creating these type of like resources. So the candidate experience itself is definitely something that big large company cares a lot about. And another use case I heard a lot recently is the how AI interviewer actually enhanced the candidate experience. Most people, when they think that, oh, I'm just like back then, I applied to a job, I don't get a chance to express myself. Like I don't know if like you hear me, and then these days with AI interviewer, you're actually able to like fill in the gap, like fill in more informations, and then the experience is like immediately you get like to draw them a call and so on. So like those aspect, company really care about that. Like I've seen a lot of like development towards different unique ways to enhance that. And then also the same thing is like the chatbot aspect of it. Previously, you have to go on the website, reading their document. It's not there. It's not friendly. It's hard to know what this company is about. Now you have a chatbot that guides you towards all these things. I think the concern is valid. The concern is valid. It's like, okay, are we all going to be making the process very robotic? It seems like, is human really behind my application? I think that's like a concern. But in the same time, I think being a recruiter yourself, you a lot of time, almost every recruiter here, I believe, has this mindset that I want to make the candidate experience better, if I have the time, and that's goes back towards you. It's like, okay, is it really kind of like, it's like two forces you have there. By using AI tools, you adjusting the needs, you definitely somewhat, at that specific task that you're solving, you felt a little bit, dehumanizing. But then at the same time, because you are giving more availability to plan better, to find, to complete the task better, to improve the overall process better, is that a isn't that like a more like a net positive outcome as a whole? I think that's how I think about this entire space, and also with all these like AI adoption as well. But this topic itself is definitely like, could be, we could go on for a long time as well. Yeah, but that's kind of my view towards it. Yeah.
Yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's go dive into this. Let's
For,
let somebody else dive in here.
yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How does AI differ from ATS, and if they're
Yeah,
the same or not?
I think that's a good question. The way I think about ATS is like their pipeline management. So it's almost like, back then, think about, you plan a task, you move, you want to organize the things. It's like a way to help you to organize the funnel, which is the recruiting funnel itself. That's what like ATS does a really good job at. But then there's this whole thought towards the future of how hiring will change. It's like, given that AI, if there's an AI assistant that is almost supporting you at the screening step, at the sourcing step, at the almost like even salary negotiation step, doesn't the AI itself knows your funnel really well? can it itself be as the how the ATS is on its own? So there's like I think that there's a lot of thought on towards that side of things. But a lot of these are still in talks. People still try to build it out. Right now, ATS is still helpful. It's just to help you to visualize it. But I think via time, you will essentially have AI that might change up the how ATS work, and you might no longer need to kind of like, okay, move the candidate to next step, next step, next step, type up the reason. Like those aspects of it would be interacted very differently. I would say, yeah,
I think that's super cool. Like that's very forward thinking and realizing that we have good solutions right now, but they can still be improved upon. Um,
yeah.
Jay asks, for Juicebox in particular, is it just tech talent or all industries?
So this goes back towards like their database. I think based on what I've seen, my research I've seen, uh, it's going to be mainly for white like LinkedIn users. I'm almost certain that most of their database is had a heavy focus on tech talents. So if essentially if you're like let's say you're looking for um, I don't know like skill workers, skill laborers, I don't think any of them is going to be on this platform at all. So I think there's that type of biases as well. But at the same time, depends on who you're trying to talent source. There's just different platform that's specialized for different type of thing, uh, audience. So you can definitely find one. Like, feel free to like let me know what type of role that you're generally interacting with. I'm happy to help you to find a tool that works. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jack is, I think, one of the most responsive people I have met. If you try and connect with Jack, ask some questions, he will get back to you. So I highly recommend that. And then I have Kevin, who is looking for AI automated interview solutions that you think are particularly good. So, are there any tools for interviews specifically that you
Yeah.
would recommend?
Right now, I think the top player right now you can definitely hear is like Ribbon. Ribbon is like a really good one. And then they're a good tool. By the way, like they are one of my competitors. I'm very upfront, very transparent with this. I wanted you to know what other tools out there that's good. Uh, but in the same time, even at Lightspace, we are also launching our AI interviewer as well to help support the initial screening round. I do believe our interviewer, the quality of it is better. It's more human. But in the same time, Ribbon has like better translation. So every AI tool has that like slightly niche differences, I would say. But it's almost like picking donuts from I don't know. There's like chocolate, there's strawberry. It's just like more like a preference type of thing. Um, all these solutions are around there, and then also it's like who has a better, I say, more friendly pricing plan as well. So yeah,
That makes a lot of sense. I think that one of the big takeaways is just there's so many tools out there, and they all are neither completely good or bad, but you have to make that decision with your intelligence and information. And that's the very human aspect to it. Okay, Aisha has a question. So she writes that are we training clients to use AI to pick out keywords for the resume? Um, Sorry, let me just break this down a little bit. Is there a comprehensive website or list anywhere that you would recommend? So is there like there's all these resources and tools out there. How do you find them? Is there just a list that you can go to? Um,
yeah. So essentially, I'll say just check out Horizon as a community. Uh, so I agree. There's a lot of tools, and I bet for you guys, um, you know, you, in general, it's just work is busy. Work is busy. It's hard to go over all these tools. So that's why I created the Horizon community. My whole hope was like I've been building HR tech for the past 2 years. My partner have been building HR tech for like past 10 years. The two of us know HR tech world really well, and that's why one thing we really want is like we saw changes is happening, and we always felt initially when we were working with early on clients. I still remember a lot early on client was telling us was like, "Oh, I'm very anxious about where AI is leading us towards," and we were trying to understand why. Because me and my partner was always very bullish about it, and I think go back when we deep down, go back to like kind of like the logic of it. Oftentimes, just like we felt we don't know how to get to adapt the new technology. There's not many resources out there. Um, there's a lot of questions be asked, and then it's like, oh, which tools should I use? What should I learn? There's all sort of these type of questions that is being asked by a lot of HR every day, and we were like, why don't we want to be make it a mission to kind of essentially give back as much as we can while we're building this technology on our own, and that's why we created Horizon. And then, so generally speaking, feel free to ask all the questions that you need or any specific question that you want to ask within the community. And we're always happy to answer that and help support you to find the tools that you need as well. In terms of like comprehensive lists, we are going to launch one of the comprehensive lists of all the tools out there as well. So stay tuned. Yeah.
So thank you so much for making it to the end. We are going to take a couple more questions, but just before, please fill in the form. It's really quick questions that are going to help us to improve our workshops. And after you fill that in, as promised, we will be sending out a bonus toolkit. Knowing that you stay until the end and listening to this conversation matters a lot to us. So once you fill out form, we know you were here, we know you were participating, and we would like to thank you by sending you some resources. Um,
Yeah,
and
and then
yeah,
I'll say like to wrap it up, I'll just go finalize the entire the last part of the kind of like this webinar. Is really is like what does a modern AI power recruiting workflow looks like. I think you're gonna start having AI to help you to do the basic part, which is like sourcing, creating your job description, aligning the expectation, and planning for it. Um, and then from via that, you're gonna have specific AI tools that help with like screening, resume screening, interview scheduling, interview conducting the pre-screening interview, analyzing interview, taking your notes, and then at the end of this, like if you think about it, almost every step as a candidate back then, I think this is one of the common problem that I heard a lot is that you don't remember these data are lost. Like these data are lost via like, every step of the interview, and that. But finally, we are at an age that you will no longer be. I think that's why it makes both employer and employee will feel much better about the outcome because they're more aligned. AI is really making this alignment closer between the recruiter as well as the candidate themselves. Um, and in terms of like case study, I think I'm just going to quickly bring it in like Facebook, Meta. I know all these tech company, they are really big in terms of applying the AI, and a lot of company has seen direct benefits towards helping them to hire better as well. And the tech stack, to be honest, is very similar to what we just described today as well. I think it's just more like they're more willing to trial the tools and implemented the tools earlier. And then for your company, if you have any specific needs or any specific administrative part that you feel like you're spending a lot of time on and looking for opportunity to enhance and improve, feel free to send me a message. I'll say. Common concern, I think it's always just the ethical aspect of it. It's like, is that really gonna like don't doesn't I think we're always against it because like let's say if I'm a really good resume screener, like I'm the amazing 20-year plus like recruiting coordinator, and now you tell me that there's AI to screen resume, there's AI to do like scheduling. That's what I have done for the past 20 years. Hey, I'm impacted. I can totally understand that from that aspect of it. But in the same time, I think it's also these tasks are tedious tasks. When you're doing it, I bet there's like a lot of like how many days you complain about it, and it's just like now it's like I think our society is moving towards like freeing up everyone's time to focus on something that is more meaningful, and as well that is more strategic aspect of it. It like career like changes is bound to happen. I think the best way to do it is not to so kind of to fight against it, because even you were to stop it, right? Um, your competitor or your colleague or other people is going to adapt towards that. So the best way is always to just adapt and learn and see kind of play out, and then just like continuously improve and see how you play out as well. I think legal concern oftentimes is also the bias aspect of it. It's like, oh, doesn't AI have bias? Yes, AI has bias. 100% has bias. Like if you were to ask me, but then the whole aspect of it is like all these tech companies does spend a lot of time to de-bias that. It's like, okay, what have we seen bias? The name, like read the resume's name, like the name itself tells you pretty much the racial bias against it, and then also the years of experience. And you hear that people tell you to put, remove the year when you graduate, so you have no age bias. Uh, but it's also working in terms of like company are actually trying to find a way to debias these things as much as possible. At least at Lightspace, when we do resume screening, we try to. We're not like Workday. I don't know about them, so there's nothing around that. But I think that's these concerns are valid, and it's important to raise these concerns and also to just see, okay, what are the solution that is moving towards solving these concerns as well. And then I think the aspect of over automation is like, oh, you feel like it dehuman. I think dehumanizing the interview process is never something that company want. Not so much. Everyone want the candidate to feel good, have a good experience. I think sometimes it just when we so zoom in into a certain aspect of it, it felt that way. Um, but then if we look into the bigger scope, I do think that every single company is moving towards like a more robust process in terms of how to hire, how to provide candidate a better experience as well. So I think those are the common misconception. And then yeah, and then so why should you use AI, right? And here are some stats to kind of help you to make that to understand that more. Based on survey, 60% of candidates are actually fine with just speaking to AI chatbot in the early on the funnel. They actually don't feel as bad as, oh, this is like something that I feel like I'm talking to robots. I'm not having a good experience. I think the candidate side, let the candidate dictate the story as well. Hear what they said is like they're okay with it. And also we did see a lot of recruiters like via time is like once you try it out, it's almost like once you try it out, you can almost never go back because you did see how much time you got saved and how you allows you to free up your time to work on something that's more meaningful and make bigger impact to the organization. I think that's the whole essence of AI as well. And yeah, I think efficiency, hiring efficiency gain, that's just like that's not even a debate. Everyone just agree that AI does help with like the hiring efficiency. It's more so the concern of how does it impact yourself and so and so. I think that's why we created Horizon once again. It's the whole goal is to help everyone to navigate. We also try to share job opportunity. We try to do our best to help everyone. So generally speaking, if there's anything that you guys are concerned of or need help with, feel free to just like go on Slack and ping us. Like we're happy to do so. That's kind of the whole webinar for today. Thanks everyone for listening in. I know I went off track a few times, but our hope is just to really help everyone to bridge that initial steps between AI and recruiting and see what's going on. And if you have any specific questions afterwards that I didn't address, ping us. Just ping us. We're always happy to answer it. Yeah, and so and so.
Yeah, we truly appreciate you all being here. It's our first time around. It's only going to get better. So stay tuned. We want to host more workshops. We're going to use the feedback you give us to create more content. And already by coming to this conference and like doing this workshop, you are taking a step and taking that initiative. So I think you should be really proud of yourselves. Have a lovely evening. Connect with us